Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
Are you going to be in town at all next week for the Super Bowl and all that? You're going to be up there? Because you want to talk about a mess. If it snows and they have all that stuff going on?
I'm hoping it does because I'm a part of the Opie and Anthony show. We're basically outcasts, so we are doing nothing with the Super Bowl, so I am rooting for a miserable experience for everybody. I want 5-degree weather and just rocks falling out.
Did they basically tell you at Sirius XM there that when guests come on the floor, just don't even look them in the eye, leave them alone?
Do you know how many times we're right? Our studio is right next door to like Shade 45, which is like where Sway is, and it's a hip hop station. Yeah. And Martha Stewart used to be right behind us. And to get people to Martha Stewart and Shade, they would walk people the long way around, so they didn't have to pass our studio.
They go around the NFL over there.
Absolutely,
so they wouldn't take the quick little aisle there.
Yeah, because we got Marion Barry one time. He was going into Shade. We yelled for him to come in, and he did. And we had Joe Rogan, and he just started asking him, what was in that pipe? And Marion Barry's like, well, no one knows what was in that pipe. And they're like, from now on, nobody important goes by the studio.
Well, it's funny because I'm a fan, and when I'll listen to you guys on satellite, it's just that's how radio interviews should be done. And fortunately for you guys, you're out of terrestrial radio.
Yes.
And, with those time constraints that we have in certain formats and whatnot. But, I was listening one day, and you had you were there. What comedian? Jay Moore came in.
Okay.
And then David Lee Roth comes in. And it was just the overlap of guests that you have coming in. That's how radio should be. Yeah. And it's done right.
Thank you. We've had with Jay a couple of weird ones. Like one time we had, I think Anthony had gone home that day. So it was like, I think it was Opie and Jay and myself. And then Louis and Gervais came in together. And we had David Lee Roth with Anderson Silva. Like just all these really weird, because I'm a UFC freak. So we had Anderson coming in and David Lee Roth was like a co-host that day. Because we weren't going to do a show because Opie and Anthony were both doing something. So I'm like, I'll do it with just to have live content for the day. And so David Lee Roth came in, and boy, can he talk. David Lee Roth is very chatty. And then Anderson. It was just a weird, like you said, mixing of people.
Silva knock him out?
What's that?
Silva will knock him out or just wanted to?
He's too nice a man. I always get those guys to do something to me. Like, I just like to feel what it is that they, on a very minor level. So Anderson's kicked me before, and I had him kick me, and he did it very light, but I had a headache for 2 hours. He kicked my arm because like my head jostled, and I wasn't used to that type of a shock to the system. John Jones put a knee in my thigh, and I almost vomited on the console.
And they're doing it like lightly, right?
I really, really lightly. I'm like their like 10-year-old sister that they're practicing on. And I almost fainted. Like that shock to my leg almost caused me. I got like lightheaded. I went to the bathroom and threw water on my. It was humiliating.
Goodness.
That I almost vomited from a kick to the leg.
It's a lot better than when UFC really hit its stroke in the mid 2000s. With the Ortiz Shamrock feud and when Liddell and those guys were in Couture, it just made it a little bit more mainstream than what it was before, I think. And then they would go to every radio station, and everybody's intern would get choked out. And that was the gimmick.
Yes.
And it was like, hey, let's get Prize Boy Billy to come over here, and we're going to have, Couture choke him out. And that was the radio shtick across the nation. At least you're getting kneed to the face.
I tried it.
He's creative.
I'll tell you the first time I did it was I would never get choked out. I've been choked just to feel what they feel, but it's awful. It was BJ Penn had just lost a belt, and he came in, and I'm like, what does an armbar feel like? I was curious. We were both sitting in chairs like this, and he just locked me up in an armbar.
It was more of a rhetorical question than.
Yeah, I just kind of meant that. I was in a philosophical way, and you feel like you're being pulled apart from both. It just makes you really respect what those guys do more than anything. When you feel like the fact that there's a guy doing this just to show me. If I was in a combat situation, I would just have no shot. I mean, I'm not a man.
I've always said MMA guys / boxers for the most part and swimmers are in the best shapes of their life.
Yeah,
shape of their lives. MMA guys. To be in that octagon or boxers in that ring for that long of a period of time, dude, you got to look. I went out and played tennis for the first time in 20 plus years, and I found out how old and fat I really am. And for these guys to do that for that length of time, dude, they are in mad good shape.
Well, if you want to feel like just a non-contributor to the species, go to the weigh-ins. Like when you go to a UFC weigh-in, because they're all cut because they've been weight cutting, so it's like there's no fluid in their body, and it's just like watching a ripped specimen in little spandex shorts, and you're like, I have zero. Like, any woman that sleeps with me, it's out of mercy. Like because as far as me contributing and conquering, I have zero.
What do you have to
capability.
offer besides your tan?
I have absolutely exactly nothing. I have the skin tone of a cadaver. I'm functional half the time. It depends on what kind of video we're watching. Yeah, I have zero to contribute.
Punchline.com. If you want to go see Jim Norton out there, I'll be out there tonight to see, I think,
thanks,
your 8
man.
o'clock show.
Yeah, I'll be out there too.
All weekend long, you can go out there. And
He didn't invite me, but I figured I'd invite myself.
Yeah, I would love you to come. I actually love when
thank
guys whose shows I do come. It's very, actually, I do radio, so I get it. Like, I never go to shows, but I
I
always
go to the Hawks game, or else I would.
I'm there tomorrow, too. And the Hawks aren't playing both nights, are they?
No, you're right.
I love putting people on the spot.
Yeah. All right, see you tomorrow then. Perfect.
That's not true, by the way. Look, Randy's.
You played last night, huh?
Yes.
No, he texts me and he goes, "Hey, he invites himself with me and my fiance to come see you at the Punchline." He says, "Me and Patrice want to go with you and Rach to go see Jim Norton." I said, "Ooh, I already have a date. We're going with another." You know that weird friend date thing.
That weird. He's in the suburbs. They call it outside the perimeter here.
I live in the hood.
Yeah, they do that whole
Get-togethers.
neighborhood thing.
Yeah.
So he's all butthurt about it, and he's upset.
They're doing salads and cocktails at their house, and then coming over for the hors d'oeuvres and whatnot.
You guys would kind of be the add-ons to what is basically their swing
The
party.
old third wheel, and neither one of us is going to be trading off, so we got nothing to offer.
Yeah. You guys just kind of sit there and be the couple that showed up with the video cameras and there's nothing. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I've been in a few cuckolding situations. It's nice.
So you got, I listened to you guys on O&A, and you guys give heat a lot to the Yankees and the announcer guy.
John Sterling, yeah.
And I love it. And also, what's the dude up there in Francesa?
Mike's Francesa.
Oh yeah, you love and hate what a boob this guy is. It's
But it's
fun.
great
Love
material.
Love it.
It really is great material because he's just such a crank. He's such a grouchy old man.
And he's never right.
I don't listen to him. I just
No, man,
just hear him fumbling
So
through
you
his
do listen to him,
nonsense.
then?
Yeah, you can't not once in a while flip on the fan when you're driving through New York. It's just one of those things that you hit for traffic reports, and he shows up and he just.
Hey, what did Susan whatever ever do to become an actual Yankee announcer?
I don't know because she has that awful. But you know what it is? She's such a Yankee diehard.
Sounds like she's from the Bronx.
Who's this?
Susan Waldman. Doesn't she have a Boston? Is that a Bronx accent? I always thought it was a Boston accent.
Really? She sounds like she's from somewhere in New York.
Her goodness gracious clip. I mean, there's nothing better than just hearing somebody absolutely humiliate themselves on the radio. It's nice just to replay it.
She makes John Sterling sound pretty good, though.
I love John Sterling because he does a great play-by-play, but when he gets into the home run call and making it about himself, you just want to decapitate him. You're like, it's not about you, stupid. It is hard. Shut up. Shut up.
An A-bomb for the A-Ron.
Dude, that's the worst. And then he had to stop doing it because A-bomb was offensive to some people. What was the other one? The Grandy Man
Well, can't use it now with Tanaka coming on board.
No, I guess not. And it's good to see the Yankees, though, because they typically don't overspend on a big player from another country. That's good.
It's really good to see them turn it around. Yeah.
Yeah, after Hideki Arabu worked out so well. God almighty.
Wait a minute, I'm slow. So they got a chick that does the
She's basically
the in-house or TV?
She's the analyst.
The analyst.
Yeah.
Really?
Michael Kay used to do it. Now he has a show on the Yes Network, I think. And again, I like John Sterling. So I think he does a great, just normal play-by-play, the pitch. But then he gets into the home run calls, and you just want to throw yourself down an elevator shaft. It's embarrassing, and it's all about him.
Hang out for another segment with us?
I would love to, yeah.
Yeah, we're finishing things up here. We'll finish it out with Jim Norton. Remember, Punchline.com, the Punchline Comedy Club, all weekend long. You go out and see Jim in a stand-up. If you got there tonight, myself and Randy might be out. Well, I'll be out there, definitely. I don't know. Randy sometimes says he's going to do things.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't really follow through, and you see him wandering out on the streets, and you feel sorry for him. And you're like,
Jason will be at the table where they'll be kissing each other's dates.
so we're swinging tonight. Don't be jealous and don't hate on our lifestyle. Don't be judgmental either. Knock it till you try it, you big goof.
He was trying to.
Yeah, I didn't let him in. Tonight, this weekend, got the Punchline, see our buddy Jim Norton. Lots of good stuff flying around town. Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. It's your morning show. My name's Jason. Got Randy and Kristen, Jim in studio, and talking a little bit about the Super Bowl, him being a New York guy. You are a New York guy, right? Like you were born and raised?
Born and raised in New Jersey, and I'm in New York now. But yeah, that whole area is my whole life.
So the
You were at Bayonne?
Bayonne, yeah.
the Super Bowl being in, there at MetLife and stuff.
In Jersey.
In Jersey. And Jim, a part of the Opie and Anthony show on Sirius, and you guys are right there in the heart of it.
Yes.
You're doing nothing at all with the Super Bowl whatsoever.
They would rather have white powder sprinkled out of an envelope than have us. We have nothing to do with it. We won't get any guests. We won't have anything to do with it. We might get some peripheral person, but no, nothing to do with it.
Are they afraid to bring these guys into the studio with you?
It's not that they're. I think that our reputation is pretty heinous, but it's like we're good to guess if they're good, and that we have a great time with them. So they shouldn't be, but they probably are.
Great interviews.
Sometimes, thank you. Yeah, we had one the other day that just we were kind of Colin Quinn called up and just attacked us for our awful interviewing skills. We had the guy from he played the pirate in Captain Phillips.
It's already started well.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy's name you can't
Tom
pronounce
Hanks?
at the no.
Bagdi or Barad Abdi or something.
Yeah.
He's a nice man. I mean, but he's Somali and he grew up in Yemen, so there's obviously so much in common to discuss.
Yeah.
And
Bayonne, Yemen,
slow
same
interview.
difference.
Very slow interview. So that's a pretty amazing story. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks a lot. You're on Blu-ray. That was a 50-50 split.
And Colin Quinn called up to critique your interviewing
Attack
skills?
it. Yeah. He does it all the time. He's like, you guys, and he's
funny.
kind of right. He's like, you guys are like little kids outside throwing mud at each other and having fun. And then whenever there's an interview, you're on your best behavior and you're all cleaned up and it sucks. And he wasn't wrong. So we really have to reevaluate what we do for a living.
But you being a radio guy and doing it for as long as you've done it, and very successful with O&A throughout terrestrial radio, now satellite radio. There's some guests that even. With all your success and HBO or Showtime special that you did. HBO stuff with Ron Jeremy, hilarious by the way.
Thank you. And true.
I know. I've actually had that conversation with Ron Jeremy. So
you told Ron? Okay.
Yeah.
Join in and don't cough.
So there's some guests that even after being in this business a long time, you get a little giddy for because you're a fan of. Such as because you guys get a lot of big names rolling through the station there at Sirius XM in New York. Guys that come in that you're a fan of, UFC guys, etc.
All UFC guys. I think we have Gervais next week. Who I love every time Ricky's on. I love him, and obviously Louis is great. Ozzy we've had on many times. It's fun to talk to people that you love. It's like it's a really weird gig to just be able to just ask them questions. And we had Ben Kingsley on one time. And I'm like, there's no situation where I'm ever going to talk to this guy where he has to answer me. And I just thought of that while I'm asking him a question and he's answering it. I'm like, if I was at a party in L.A. and I said hello to him,
You wouldn't have to answer any of this.
he'd spit on me. He wouldn't even not answer me.
Might just walk away.
Right.
Yeah, but now he has to actually sit there and listen to me, and it's kind of fun to have that.
You always have Iron Man 3 to throw back at him. Hope you got a hell of a check there.
Why was it really bad? I didn't see it.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
I
played the
loved
bad
it.
guy.
Not what I would sort of picture as his.
Who's Ben?
Classic.
What did he play in Iron Man 3? I don't know who Ben Kingsley. I mean, I'm sure if I look him up.
He played the
He was the villain, right?
the jihadist, the head villain guy that was leading all the.
And it came out that he was a joke. He was a gimmick. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I know. Yeah. At the very end, he's like, "Oh, they paid me to play the part. I don't know what I'm doing. They paid me to play the part." And then you got some guests that come in there that just can't take it, and they just don't want to be bothered with some of that stuff.
Some of them just suck. And I hate to bash Paris Hilton because she's such an easy target, but we had her on, and we were like, we'll be nice to her. We promised the booker. She was just an awful guest. She wasn't evil or rotten, so I didn't attack her. But she just stunk. She didn't want to give any information. She, you just have to watch the show. That's why her new reality show went in the toilet.
Yeah.
And it's like you try to be nice to her, and it's like, no, you are the vapid idiot that we thought you were going to be.
Tell us about the show. Give us a reason to watch.
Yes, tell us. But
it's really good.
You have
but you'll
to
have to
watch
see
it.
it.
They think it's like, what do you think this is a big tease? You have to watch it. Ooh, intriguing. It's like, hey, bore. It's a reality show. Nobody wants to see it if you're not going to promote it. It was a lot of fun to do. Shut up. Of course the director was fun. I hate when actors come in the cast was great. Of course they were great. What are you going to say? Oh, the cast kind of sucked. He's a drunk.
Any chance we can get you involved in some of these housewives of reality TV? You'd make a great mediator in some of these meetings and whatnot with the housewives of New York or Atlanta or Orange County.
I know nothing. I think Danielle Staub we had on, who I was attracted to because of that porn she did. I thought was relatively sexy, and I've interviewed a few of them for a Tonight Show piece I did. I know nothing about them.
Yeah.
I know there's two of them that I've met that I wanted to sleep with. and one I met was a drunk. That's all I know
Pretty
about
much all you need to know. That's the story in a nutshell.
Is that pretty much all of
About
them?
sums them all up.
You should probably shoot for the drunk to sleep with.
But that's the only one I had a shot with. I smelled liquor on her breath at like 3 in the afternoon. I'm like, this is the type of girl I like.
Have you? I'm sure you
Always
guys
go for the slow zebra.
have George Thorogood on, right?
No, we never talked to Thorogood.
Oh, you guys, he is the worst person to have on the air.
Why?
He is such a douchebag. Dude, he'll come on, and it's George Thorogood, man. Bad to the bone, dude. I mean, this is the guy of a generation, music that still plays in your head. And he comes on and you ask him questions, and it doesn't matter whether, I had him on, I've heard him on other shows. He has the same shtick where he just doesn't care. And then he gives you one-word answers. And he's like, like some of those rock stars, they kind of try to jerk you around because they're so sick of radio people.
Sure.
And it's just like, dude, just chill. Let's talk.
Right.
It's not. I'm not looking for something. I just want to talk to you. I'm a fan.
Right.
And he just jerks you around. Worst guest to possibly have on.
That's hard I hate to hear that because it's like, especially when you're being genuine and just having a conversation with somebody, and then they want to just not participate, and it's like, well, if you don't want to do this, dummy, don't do it.
Yeah.
Sit home and just send out a tweet to your followers and don't come on the air, but don't come on the air and not talk.
Yeah.
Especially a rock star like that, a guy who's legendary.
What's worse, somebody like that or somebody that sits in the first row or two of your act that gets butthurt because they get noticed and get dogged by you?
It's funny. As long as they don't heckle, if they heckle, I tend to be really brutal. I despise hecklers.
Yeah.
So if they're butthurt and they're quiet, feel free. But if they heckle, it can get very, very ugly.
Did you say butthurt as just a regular term before you walked in here this morning, or has Randy gotten another one?
No, I've heard it. I have actually heard butthurt before. The first time I heard
He
it,
uses it like 7 times a show.
and I hate the
I lived
expression,
in
but I
San
do use
Francisco
it.
for a long time. So.
Is that where it's from?
Yeah.
It wouldn't. Okay. I first heard it from an escort. Believe it or not, an escort that I was
believe
seeing,
it.
a dominatrix who I was. Why would I think that you wouldn't believe that? A dominatrix who I was trying to sleep with, and we were arguing via text message, and she said the term butthurt. That was the first time I ever heard that. Was
First I ever heard it was from Randy Cross.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
me
dude,
too.
who uses that? It
Yeah.
just like makes me feel uncomfortable even saying it on the air. Two dudes don't talk about beating anyway.
I used it just because I heard you use it, though.
I figured. Jim Norton, absolute pleasure having
Thank
you
you,
in,
man.
First I ever got a chance to meet you, and I was excited when I heard you're going to be in town and jumped on the chance to have you on the program.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the Punchline Comedy Club all this weekend. Tonight, Randall and I will be out there, so if you want to come out there and say hi, Jim Norton, definitely price of admission. Plus, get some food. Try the buffalo chicken dip. It's delish. Hashtag Gripe List at Morning Show 929. We'll read off the best of the gripes here and then get out for a weekend. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, guys.
Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. On Twitter at 929 The Game. On Facebook at /929 The Game. And on YouTube at youtube.com/929 The Game.